All of you are welcome to today Dhamma talk. So I was invited to do the today Dhamma talk. Today I thought to explain again this how Lord Buddha teach us to overcome the wrong view or to correct our view to the right view. So this is today I will read this Vipallasa Sutta. This is so how to correct the perversions of our perceptions, mind and view. Because we wrongly perceive things based on our past karma or the past training. So we perceive things wrongly. Then our mind work with the perverted way of working our mind. So based on these workings, we see the world in the wrong way. Wrong with the perversions or distortions. So that's why again, and this is a cyclic process. It is always leads to greed, hatred, and delusion. So it is a natural flow of happening things. So according to Buddha's teachings, we should correct our perceptions after listening to Dhamma, listening to the people who teach things in the right way. So then we start develop the right perceptions. And we develop means we start using the right perceptions all the time. So then we perceive things in the right way. Then our mind have the right feelings, perceptions. Then it leads to seeing the world in the right way. So this Vipallasa Sutta teach in this way. So because all the time I try to tell to this audience from a long time, from 2019, the same thing. Because we misunderstand, we misperceive. It is a part of our consciousness. So that's why if we correct this right, the initial, the wrong feelings, perceptions, volitions, then it leads to the right view, and then we start seeing things in the right way. Because sometimes people teach, or we can hear that kind of teachings. When you meditate to deeper stages, then you understand things rightly. But Lord Buddha never say like that. Lord Buddha say you have to practice right perceptions. Then you correct your mind. Then you see the world in the right way. So that's why we have to correct at the beginning. We correct our perceptions. So then you can develop your mind to higher states, and then you see things in the right way. If you don't have the right view at the beginning, once you develop your mind to the higher states, even though you develop to higher states, you see things in the wrong way. So you are wrong, then you understand your experiences based on wrong view. So it never leads to the emancipation or end of suffering. It leads to the continuation of your existences. It is a natural flow of happening things. There is no personality here. So first you have to establish the right view at the beginning. So this is the way how, that's why the Lord Buddha say in many suttas, you have to practice the right perceptions at the beginning to correct the action of your mind. The way of seeing, the mentality should become correct. And then you see the world in the right way. Then the vision become correct. So that's why when teaching, Lord Buddha say, Chakkung udapadi, Jnanang udapadi, Panya udapadi, Vijja udapadi, Aloko udapadi. First thing is the vision arose within himself. That's what Lord Buddha say at the beginning. The vision arose, and then the knowledge arose within me, and then the wisdom arose within me, and then the science or the understanding, right understanding arose within me, and then the light arose within me. So, chakkung udapadi, jnanang udapadi, panya udapadi, vijja udapadi, aloko udapadi. First thing is the right vision should arise. So, for how this right vision arise within us, practicing the right perceptions and correcting our mentality, and then we see the world in the right way. So then I will read this sutta and then we can discuss furthermore, and then you can ask questions. So this is the sutta in Anguttara Nikaya 4.49. AN 4.49. This is Ajahn Sujato's translation. So in Pali, Anguttara Nikaya, Chatukka Nipata, Rohitassa Vagga, Vipallasa Sutta. In English, numbered discourses 4.49 with Rohitassa, perversions. Vipallasa, Ajahn Sujato translated as perversions, distortions. Okay. Mendicants, there are these 4 perversions of perception, mind, and view. What for? Taking impermanence as permanence. According to this Pali reading, this once we take impermanence and permanence, there is sanya vipallasa. That is the perversion of perception. There is a the perversion of mind and perversion of view. All these things, 3 things come one behind the other. Once we take impermanence as permanence. So, in the same way, taking suffering as happiness, happiness as suffering. We have the perverted perception, and then perverted the mind, and then the perverted view. So, taking not self as self. Self as not self, both sides. Taking ugliness as beauty. Ugliness means unpleasantness as pleasant, pleasant as unpleasant. So these are the perversions. The good as bad, bad as good. All these come under the asubha and subha. When we translate asubha and subha, so you can understand this subha. We take the pleasant things as unpleasant, unpleasant thing as pleasant, or ugliness as beautiful, beauty as ugliness. So these are the 4 things. We have the wrong perceptions, mind, and view. So then Lord Buddha say, there are 4 perversions of perception, mind, and view. Imeko bhikkave, chattaro sanya vipallasa. Yes, these are the 4 perversions of perception, mind, and view. There are these 4 corrections of perception, mind, and view. What for? Taking impermanence as impermanence. Taking suffering as suffering. Taking not self as not self, taking ugliness or unpleasantness as unpleasant, or ugliness as ugliness. These are 4 corrections of perception, mind, and view. So that is the correction. That is the way how we correct the wrong view to right view. Perceiving impermanence as impermanence, suffering as happiness, not self as self, and ugliness as beauty, sentient beings are ruined by wrong view. Deranged, out of their minds, yoked by Mara, yoked by Mara's yoke. These people find no sanctuary from the yoke. Sentient beings continue to transmigrate with ongoing birth and death. But when the Buddhas arise in the world, those beacons reveal this teaching that leads to the stilling of suffering. When a wise person hears them, they get their mind back, seeing impermanence as impermanence, suffering as suffering, not self as not self, and ugliness or unpleasantness as ugliness or unpleasantness. Taking up right view. This is the important thing. Taking up right view. It is not you are seeing, but you are taking up. That is why the saddha is the first thing you should have to take up. If you don't have saddha, you don't take up. You always try to dispute it. Try to explain based on your view. That is wrong view based on your past karma. So taking up right view, they have risen above all suffering. So that is the way how it works. So according to this, sabbam dukkham upagacchunti, when you take up the right view, when you're practicing the right view, naturally, upagacchunti is go to like the sun in the evening, they go to diminish and disappear. In the same way, all suffering gradually diminish and disappear. That is the meaning of upagacchunti. So anyway, they have risen above all the suffering. That is the Ajahn Sujato's translation. So this is the sutta. This is a very short sutta. But this is how Lord Buddha explained Dhamma to people. So we have to understand these our wrong perceptions arise within us because our past training, past habits. We haven't seen Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, and we haven't heard Dhamma correctly. We haven't practiced correctly. That's why we have the wrong perceptions, wrong feelings. These are in use all the time. When we see things, naturally these perceptions arise in our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind consciousness. That's why we have to correct it. We have to let go things. Cut off and let go our wrong feelings, perceptions, and volitions, and correct it using the right view. Take things as impermanent, non-self, and suffering leads to suffering. All these feelings, perceptions, volitions lead to suffering. That's why let go and free our mind. We should practice these things in our day-to-day life. So it leads to gradually, then we develop the right feelings, right perceptions and volitions. And that means it leads to let go things. We are mind inclined to letting go things and free our mind. So right feelings, right intentions are the non-harming, non-ill will, and non-sensual. So this sensuality, the indulging in sensuality or the thoughts leads to sensuality based on delusion, not understanding the realities related to this consciousness, because this consciousness always based on delusion. Avidya pacca sankara, sankara pacca vijnana. The delusion is the root cause of functioning this sense basis. So when we keep in mind these realities related to our consciousness, then we are mindful and aware. So the things, whatever thing arise, always have a certain level of, in the foundation, the delusion is in a certain level behind these things. So then we are ready to let go things. We are ready to release things. But when we live as a human, in our day-to-day life, we have to use our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. It is a part of the life. It is a part of the system. So that's why we have to be mindfully handle our feelings, perceptions, and volitions, and cut off all unnecessary stuff. Use whatever thing useful for the present moment. These things have no big value, which is lasting forever. These are just for use, for the present moment usage. Cut off all unskillful stuff, which come with the greed, hatred, or the harming thoughts, ill will, and sensuality. Cut off as much as you can, and use for your day-to-day living. And free your mind. When you have the chance, just cut off and release your mind from all these forms, feelings, perceptions, and volitions. Come through these five senses and come to your mind. And release your mind from these things and develop your mind to the higher states. Release from the five sense world and bring your mind to the higher states of mind. That means the non-sensual world. That is the fine material realms. That is the last factors of Noble Eightfold Path. Develop those last three factors. In your day-to-day life, practice the first five factors of the Noble Eightfold Path. So then you can release your mind from greed and hatred and practice the metta, the loving kindness towards all living beings, including you, your body and mind. Because your body and mind always based on the delusion. It is a part of the product of delusion. So that's why it always have the feelings. When you see things, you have the pleasant feelings and unpleasant feelings. When you see sight, sound, smells, taste, touches, make these feelings automatically. These pleasant feelings and unpleasant feelings. And you have perceptions related to your sight, sound, smells, taste, and touches. It is a part of the system. But all these things are impermanent. These are not fixed. These things change when the causes and conditions are changing. It is naturally changing. These are not under your control. These feelings, perceptions, volitions are not under your control. That's why Lord Buddha said, not self. Non-self. These are not self. There is no fixed self here. When the causes and conditions change, these feelings and perceptions, volitions automatically change to different states. It is a part of this natural process. These are not under your control. So that's why Lord Buddha said not self. Because each and every moment, these feelings, perceptions, volitions arise based on causes and conditions at that moment. When the moment changes, these things can change to different states. These are not under our control. Uncertainty is a part of the system. Uncertainty is a fundamental to all the mentality and materiality. So we have to keep in mind. We don't have exceptions. So that's why all these forms, feelings, perceptions are impermanent. Therefore, it leads to suffering. Once you cling to these things, want to crave to these things, it leads to suffering. If you don't have craving, it never leads to suffering. You can just let go and free your mind. When you crave, when you cling onto these things, it leads to suffering because these are impermanent stuff. Why we cling on these things? We don't take things as impermanent. We don't take things as not self. These are not under I, me, myself control. If we take these things as these are not under I, me, myself control, so then we know these things can change. We are not strongly cling on these things. We are ready to let go. We are ready to cut off and let go. We are ready to accept whatever thing comes next. We get ready because we accept these are realities. These are impermanent. These are not self. And this clinging on these things leads to suffering. This is a simple thing. So we have to practice. Because we take the other side. We cling on these things because we take things as impermanent. But we don't think these things are permanent. But our consciousness, always based on that perception. We are not think these things are permanent, these things are good, nice. It automatically arise within us. It is embedded to the system. It is a part of the system. It is a part of the BIOS of the computer. It is the way how we interpret the things. It is a part of the system. We have to understand it is a part of our system. So that's why we have to correct by mind. That's why we have to develop the right perceptions and practice these right perceptions. Then we can correct our mind. It is automatically correct our mind, and then we see the world in a different perception, with different way. Our view become correct. So we have to practice these things. So that's why this sutta, Lord Buddha say, Sammaditthi Samadhana. You have to. We observe precepts, but we don't observe the Sammaditthi. But in this sutta, also clearly Lord Buddha say, you have to practice the right view. That's why right view come at the beginning of the path. It is the first factor of the path. So we have to learn it and practice it. So if you have any questions, you can ask now.
Please put up a hand if you have any questions. People are impressed.
They're thinking already.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bhante, for the talk. And my question is about right view. So we know the the sutta talks about the right view, how to get the right view. But if you're deluded, and if you don't know that you don't have the right view, how do you see that? So that's I think is the difficulty of the human condition, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't really know that you don't have the right view, So you think your view is the right view.
So, according to Buddha's teachings, a person get right view. It is a momentary thing. When you listen to Dhamma, that is, according to Buddha's terms, Ariyanan dassavi, Sappurisanan dassavi, Ariya dhammassa kovido, Ariya dhamme viniso. Ariya Sappurisanan dassavi is you have seen and encountered a person who is teaching Dhamma correctly. But if you don't have faith, confidence regarding that person, you don't get anything. Lord Buddha says people miss. Even though they listen to the right thing, they have doubts. They don't have faith to understand. That's why in some suttas, Lord Buddha lengthily explained, even though you see a person who is telling the right thing, but you don't trust him, you don't have a confidence on him, so you just neglect whatever thing he is saying. If you have little bit faith and confidence regarding the person who is telling these things, then you pay attention, you lend your eye to hear what this guy is telling. So then you examine whether this is true or false within yourself. And then you start seeing the truth. Then your faith and confidence develop within yourself. So then you go deeper understand. You again and again you ask questions and try to understand what this Dhamma, what this guy is telling. That is how you come to the thing. Then you understand you have something wrong. Why suffering arises? According to this explanation, we can understand why suffering arises, and then you directly experience by removing the causes to suffering within yourself, and you directly experience the release from suffering within you. Then you develop the higher level faith and confidence regarding the teaching. So it should happen within yourself by investigating within yourself. But you have to listen first and try to understand this teaching and practice within yourself. Because the laboratory within you, people can teach science, but if you don't go to the laboratory and test things, you don't know whether this is true or false. So that's why this Dhamma you can see within yourself. That's why Lord Buddha say, the ehipassiko opanaiko pacchattam veditabbo vinyuhi. Lord Buddha say, you can invite people and just see. Because it can see within yourself. It is not very complicated. This is not rocket science. The laboratory within yourself. So that's why you can investigate within yourself and see. But the only thing, you should have a little bit faith and confidence regarding the person who is telling these things. If you don't have, you have a lot of doubts. If you know many other things, even the Buddha's time, people who follow the other teachers, they have a lot of understanding theories based regarding this body and mind. So when they go to Buddha and listen to Buddha, they don't have faith. They say, this guy is telling something foolish. This is wrong. Even the Nigantanatha Putta say, when the Upali Gahapati went to Nigantanatha Putta, and Nigantanatha Putta asked, so do you believe that this flow of this mentality, can you stop? If you can stop this flow of mind, then you will be able to stop the Ganges river by putting your hand across the river. Is it possible? It is impossible. The Lord Buddha is telling all these things. Are you believe these things? He asked the Upali Gahapati. Upali Gahapati told, no, I don't believe what he says. But he still, after that, because I am practicing it, that's why I know, yes, it can stop. By practicing the right way and right practices, you can stop the asavas in your mind. You can stop the inflows, the karma asava, you can stop. The inflows, the outflows of your mind can stop by developing your mind to the jhana levels. Then you can stop the five sensual world thinking or the mentalities. Totally extinguish the sensual world mentality. When you develop your mind to the jhana levels, the rupavachara, the fine material realms. So he say, yes, I have practiced. That's why I know very well. So what Lord Buddha says is true. It is not just believing what Lord Buddha says, but he practiced the path and understand. Even the Buddha said, how many people just believe what Nigantanatha Buddha told? Actually, according to the Indian history, after Buddha passing away, how many emperors were giants? Even the king, the second emperor in India, according to the history, the King Asoka, he was a giant. He was converted by the Negro the Samanera later. Before his grandfather, he was the first emperor. He also a giant. Many generations of kings were giants after Buddha. So you have to understand, if the king believed one religion, majority of the population in India believe the same religion. It is a part of the system. So you have to understand, what Buddha's words, who believe? Only few people believe. So if you don't have faith, you don't get what Lord Buddha teach you. Okay, ask. So there is another question is coming.
Thank you, Bhante, very much. I guess you did make the point, and it sort of does stand out really, that we need to be able to live the path and manage our perceptions in our, obviously our daily lives, which are fairly complicated with lots of, mundane matters. But you seem to be suggesting that is at least as important as meditation, because the meditation, if it isn't soundly based, is misleading. Is that would be, in a nutshell, the reality of it, that it's our everyday moment-to-moment living as much as we can, and seeing the truth, that's the most important. Thank you.
Yeah, actually, the meditation, in whatever level, even without the right view, it is not bad, because it is calming your mind, stilling your mind. When your mind gets stilled, you can understand things in a better way. But it is important, if you don't have the faith regarding these basic teachings, the right view, because I have seen many times, even the people develop their minds to the higher states, they don't have faith to the right view. So they have different views. It is okay, because they are strengthening their view. If you have the faith towards these basic teachings, then it leads to the emancipation. It leads to the totally ending of suffering. Otherwise, it will not end the suffering. It is just a pause, or they suppress the suffering for temporarily. So then you can go to a different state of existences and exist for a long time. But it never ends the craving to the existence. So that's why it leads to the samsara. And it leads to arise suffering again and again in future. It is temporary suppression. So that's why, if you develop the right view at the beginning, it leads to the seeing things in the right way. So whatever experience you get by practicing the mind to the higher states, or to develop your mind to the beyond this human world, to the other realms, you see things in the right way because you practice the right view at the beginning. So that's why it is important. But even a person who practices this meditation to higher states, they also have, once they have the faith to these basic teachings, then they understand things quickly, because they have the higher level experiences and they attain Nibbana very quickly, because they have already developed their mind to the higher states. But the important thing is the right view. So right view should come to understand the things in the right way.
Can we just go to an online question before we, just to be fair to our online audience? Ajahn, there's a question here around how to practice Khanti. I had to look this one up because I wasn't familiar with this Pali term, which
Khanti, patience.
And there's also a subsequent question, is how to establish patience as well. So if you can answer those.
Yeah. That is a good question, because the Khanti is an important part we have to practice. So Khanti is the peace of mind, letting go, the patience. These things we can practice if you value these things, or if you live with people who practice this peace of mind and calm and quiet persons. If you live with them, you can quickly get these things. But if you develop the right view, it also leads to the peace of mind. That is the important part. Because why our mind has no peace? The reason is craving, wanting. So that's why we don't have patience. Because that is our practice. Patience, you have to practice. This practice should be based on the right foundation, right view. So then you can let go things and make your mind still. So these intentions arise in our mind, make us impatient. So if we train our mind to cut off and let go and free our mind and let it calm and quiet, so it is a good training to be patient. So that's why meditation in the present day, many people teach patience, the meditation. These meditation practices are helpful to calm your mind and wait still and just watch your mind and develop the patience. But these things go to deeper states. If you have the right view, if you practice the right view, you can quickly let go things and free your mind. Then patience automatically come to you. You know things come and go, no need to worry. Whatever thing we get may change. And so we have patience to see, to experience anything. Let the things be. We don't struggle, we don't fight. So that the patience is, in other words, we can explain. If you practice the right view, Lord Buddha say, so you are not to shaken by the four worldly winds. When you're practicing the right view, you don't worry about things, because things come and go. You know these are impermanent stuff. These are not under me, myself control. Any craving leads to suffering. Any wanting leads to suffering. You just let the things be. Let the things fade away and disappear. Let the things be first. You don't worry. So that is patience. That comes from the right view. That is something deep for the common people. But training, what I told at the beginning, if you live with the people who have patience, you get it as a training. So then you patience, but your mind is sometimes not patience, but your verbal actions and bodily actions shows you are patient. You don't react. But sometimes your mind is not like that. Mind is impatient. But you are trained to be patient, to behave as a patient person. But it is not really, patience is there. You are not calm and quiet within yourself. That's why the right view make your body and mind both calm and quiet still.
When listening to a Dhamma talk or observing something and practicing mindfulness, if possible, most of the time you don't. What operates is the habits and behavior patterns you have developed over many times of many times you are born previously. I think to get the best benefit out of any situation, listening to a Dhamma talk or self-reflecting, you have to have an empty mind, open mind, freed from all perceptions, all beliefs, all ideas. So that can happen only if you practice letting go. Let go. Don't hold on to anything. Keep on releasing. It's easy to do that when you realize that there is no self there to hang on to anything. So I think the most important thing is, as you said in the sutta, we take in things on the basis there is a permanent self. Everything is impermanent. Everything is good, not unhappy. So as Buddha says that if you practice that way, you do not have the problem of accumulating these wrong things, and then you can hear the Dhamma properly, you can understand yourself properly, then you can go forward properly. And you don't accumulate anything wrong from that point onwards. So my point is, it is the emptying the mind and not hanging into any ideas and thoughts you had before to get the best benefit out of listening to a Dhamma talk with confidence.
Yeah. This is I will add a little bit more. So this emptying mind is actually is a temporary thing. When you are living in this human world, emptying mind is, you can do it at one moment or one time, but you should understand this is a natural process. It is flowing inside. When you contact objects, the thoughts come, feelings, perceptions come. When you live as a human, you can't live without contact using this eye, nose, tongue, body. Only you are attaining jhana levels, you can empty your mind. when you go to those higher states of mind, so your body stops, your mind go to the higher states, then you can achieve the empty. Otherwise, when you are living in your day-to-day life, all the times these inputs come through your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. Even though you sit for meditation, your body stops, but your thoughts come to your mind. So then you have to let go this mentality. So that's why we have to understand this is a natural process. These are not under I, me, myself control. So we have to accept things as it is and use the skillful means when you are living in your day-to-day life, but you should understand suffering is always associated with existence. When you live as a human, sooner or later suffering comes to you. So that's why you should know how to cut off and let go when suffering comes, because suffering always associates with craving. So when suffering arises, you should have to examine and cut off the craving, of release your mind from the object and bring your mind to the stillness. You know, suffering is a part of the system. So then you don't worry. You are not shaken by whatever thing you experience. You know how to release your mind. So that is the training. That is the thing you have to understand. So then you know how to bring your mind to the stillness. So this knowledge, this wisdom is important, because when you practice, this wisdom starts arising within you. You know how to release from suffering. Why suffering arises? Because the craving comes with the objects. Craving arises within us with the objects. This craving based on delusion, taking objects as permanent and self. It is under my experience. These feelings are my feelings. These perceptions are my perceptions. These volitions are my volitions. No. All these things arise based on causes and conditions at that moment. When the moment changes, these things change. These are not I, me, myself. So if we take these things, we can quickly cut off and free your mind. So that is the important thing we have to keep in mind. So then the emptying mind is the higher thing. So it is the way how you can release from suffering. Okay, then go to the next question.
Yeah, Ajahn, we've got another online question here. Can you please give an example of right view from a Buddhist philosophical perspective?
Philosophical perspective. Yeah.
Could you give an example of right view from a Buddhist philosophy perspective?
Explain right view. Yeah. No. I will give you because the different people ask different levels. That's it. That's the way they see things. So, because I know. some of these things doesn't come at once to my mind. So how do we explain that kind of question? So this. Practically. Yeah, so the right view, the practical use of the right view. Okay, I will tell like this. That depends on different experiences. Sometimes if you experience a bad thing, so someone come and scold. When you are working in your office, your superior or the person who in charge of you, so he will to tell you something a little bit harshly. So if your feelings, perceptions arise, then sometimes his way of behaving is not reasonable according to you. So then you get a little bit upset. So if I am telling an example. But you should understand, if you have the right view, you know the way of the other person's behavior based on the causes and conditions at this present moment, his mind runs based on his past karma. And past karma is not a one thing. The present moment, his mentality supported by the recent karma or the past karma or the whatever object he is contact now, create these feelings, perceptions, and volitions. Because those volitions, he has these verbal actions. So we should have that background understanding. If you practice the right view, you know this person act in this way based on the present moment, causes and conditions. And even the feelings, perceptions arise within me also based on the present moment, the karma based on my mind. So if we have this background understanding, we are ready to let go things. We always have the non-harming, non-ill will, and non-sensuality. That means your mind is calm. You are kind to yourself, your ears, because your ears bring all these unhappy thoughts to your mind. So you are kind to the other person also, because he act based on causes and conditions and this moment. Next moment he will become a different person. So then you are ready to help him. If he is something, if his anger or unhappiness based on wrong facts, so we can correct these things. Or sometimes he is very angry, so we should not tell anything until he get calmed down. So if you are not agitated by the other person's actions, if you are practicing right view, then your mind get calm and still. So then you can react. You can have the right reactions in proper actions according to the situation. So these things come, but I think he asked the philosophical point. That means the way of the seeing in the base. So this meaning of this thing is, this philosophical point, this I-Enostung body is a natural phenomena. It is not under anyone's control. It arises based on causes and conditions in each and every moment. The past karma is also a one condition which support to the present moment. So that's why when this I-Enostung body mind works, it works based on causes and conditions and produce forms, feelings, perceptions, and volitions. Forms means so the mentality, how you take external forms within yourself, and then create these feelings, perceptions, and volitions. It is a part of the mental process. So if you understand this is a natural process, it arises based on causes and conditions. These causes and conditions are uncertain. The conditions are based on causes. So these conditions create the present moment feelings and perceptions. So the causes behind these conditions some are based on the different other processes. Not only the process related to your senses, but the external, the conditions arise based on the different processes. So that's why if we understand this is all the natural phenomena, so within ourselves also have the natural phenomena. If we have that right understanding, we can let go things. We are ready to let go things. We train ourselves to let go things and free our mind. So that's why when we are dealing with, because when we have this sixth sense basis, these feelings, perceptions, volitions naturally arise. This is one. But if we have the mind, have the wisdom regarding this system, so it is always ready to let go things and free our mind and act wisely, not falling into unskillful mentality. That means greed, hatred-based mentality, because there is non-delusion. That's why right view, practicing right view, create the wisdom which practicing the non-delusion. You are not deluded by your feelings, perceptions, and volitions. You can let go things and free your mind.
What
you said let go and free your mind is impossible.
Huh?
You earlier said let go and free your mind is impossible.
Yeah. Let go and free your mentality, feelings, perceptions. Yes, they're correct. Sometimes my English not good. Yeah, I'm just speaking. Yeah, my English.
Yeah,
not
hello. Thank you so much, Bhante, for your Dharma talk in terms of the right views. They are really important for our practice in daily life. However, I wonder how should we practice those right views that always come with us all the time? Because from my experience, sometimes I can remember and let unpleasant things go away, but sometimes we cannot remember the right views at all. We sometimes feel a little bit unpleasant, and then the right views comes again and remind me to let things go. So how should we practice to develop the right views that always come inside us, in our mind all the time? Thank you so much.
Yeah. Lord Buddha say the repeated practicing is the important thing. You see everything. Yeah.
Yeah, excuse me. Is it a good way to remind us about the right views all the time? Because if it's a way, it may interrupt our daily activities.
Yes. Yeah. In our daily activities, we should have that understanding in back of our mind. All these things come and go. These are impermanent. Be kind. But in your day-to-day activities, you have to do things according to the convention or the norms and the things in where you live. So you have to keep in mind these things can change. You know, I say in sometimes as an example. Now people get the training to be a doctor, so they learn pharmacology and they give after they start practicing they give medicine to people. But after some time, the government banned those medicine, and they can't give again these things. But previously they have given these things. So our feelings, perceptions, values change. So if we keep in mind all the time, whatever thing we choose now, or whatever decision we take now may change in future. And whatever thing tell other people to us also can change. Whatever people, how they appreciate our actions may change time to time. Today they praise you. Tomorrow they blame you. So these things are impermanent stuff. So that's why it is a part of the system. So that's why if we keep hopes on these things, or they should praise me, I should act according to these things, but one day you get frustrated because even though you expect praise from them, they start blaming. Find out some minor fault. You have done a lot of good things. They find out a small fault and start blaming you. It is a part of the system. How they feel, how they understand. These minds work based on causes and conditions and each and every moment. So that's why when you practicing the right view, your hopes get diminished. You have the minimal level of hopes. You don't believe or you don't expect things related to five sense world. You just let go. You train your mind to free from five sense world and develop your mind to the higher states. Let go of the five sense world. That is called nekkhamma. That is avihimsa, avyapada, nekkhamma. This is the second factor of Noble Eightfold Path. Non-harming thoughts, non-ill-will thoughts, and non-sensuality. You practice non-sensuality, letting go of the sensuality. Because this sensual world leads to suffering. Because you crave to things which are impermanent. You want things, you enjoy things which are impermanent. After some time, these things change to different things. Yeah.
Sometimes we cannot, we don't think that things are impermanent.
Yeah.
We think that things are non-self.
Yeah.
Sometimes we remember these things, but
Yeah.
sometimes we forget these
Yeah.
values and we live as we used to live.
Yeah. That is a part of the system. You should not blame to yourself. It is a part of the system. Only thing, you can remember these things when you are practicing again and again and again. And you, when you use this knowledge, you can release your mind from suffering. Then you develop the faith and confidence regarding this practice. So then it will strengthen the practice, gradually develop in your heart. Because you have faith and confidence to this right view and right taught this right way of interacting things. It grow within you gradually. So that's why Lord Buddha say in some suttas. For example, I don't know, do you know the jack trees? This is just an example. If you want, we say the almond tree. If you like to eat almond, so you want to grow an almond tree in your garden. So are you go to somewhere in a botanical garden or bring a huge one almond tree to your home and plant? No. You just bring one almond seed and plant in your garden. Then it start growing gradually. You have to look after it. You have to treat it. If you neglect it, it will sometimes die at the beginning. If you treat it properly, if you pour water and look after it from the insects and all these things, it will grow gradually and it will become a huge tree and start giving almond. In the same way, so you have to practice the right thing from the beginning. Then it will grow within yourself. And you see the world in a different way. That's why, that is what I told at the beginning. Lord Buddha say, Chakkung udapadi, Jnanang udapadi, Panya udapadi, Vijja udapadi, Alok. First, you develop the right view. Then, when you have the right view, then you gather the new knowledge regarding the world. Because you see the world in a different way. So then you have the different knowledge. This knowledge leads to different way of acting with the world. That means you develop your mind to let go everything and free your mind from the five sense world, and you develop your mind to the jhana realms. Once you develop to those states, panya udapadi, then you have the wisdom how to extinguish the five sense world suffering. That is panya udapadi. When you develop to those states, then you can fully understand this, how suffering arises, what is the root causes of suffering. That is the underlying craving to the existence, experience the world in whatever level. So that is the underlying problem. So then you see this underlying the delusion, and then you get rid of, and then go to the higher states, the total extinguishment. Panya udapadi, Vijja udapadi, then Aloko udapadi. There is no darkness, or there is no delusion anymore.
Is there online question? Any question? Hello? No, you press this one. Don't press this.
Bhante, I'm lay Buddhist, and I have faith in the Buddha, the Buddha's teaching. And Buddha teach us to keep our 5 precepts. And I feel blessed that I practice this. And I feel the benefits. I think that is my faith.
Yeah.
So I think it comes back to our own faith, in our own practice. Yeah, that's all I want to say.
That's good. Yeah, if you practice precepts, the benefits of practicing precepts is evident in your life. If you see in the right way, that means you see the benefits. But sometimes people get frustrated with precepts because they have a lot of craving regarding other sensual experiences and all these things. That depends on which kind of people you are living. Because sometimes people observe the 5 precepts, and they go and live with the people who take a little bit liquor in the evening. So they say, are you enjoying your life? Oh, this is, just take a little bit. 1 shot is okay, no problem. It will not make you any difference. So you just gradually fall into these things. That's why it is good. You have to live with the good people, then you will enjoy. Otherwise, your values can change. That's why the right view is important, to get the right foundation. Sometimes it is difficult. for all people. Even the Buddha's time, people come and ask, Bhante, don't tell this deep Dhamma, just tell something simple for us. We are lay people. Even the Buddha's time, people ask from Buddha. It is okay. It is okay. That is the world. That is how the world works. Finish? Okay. Then we pay respect to Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivadi Swakhato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namassang Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Sanghang Namah